Well, hello again and welcome, 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 welcome. It's always good to share time and space with you. This is Leaders and Legacy in Style, Divine, Masculine, and Feminine. I am Joy Ruffin. The work that I do is as a leadership and signature style specialist, a personal development strategist, speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. But as the kids say today, who cares? Every week we bring you a featured guest speaker. And tonight, today, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are, it's no exception. My featured guest speaker is going to share some powerful information with you that's really all about legacy. And you know that these are favorite words of mine. So we're going to be talking about wealth building skills, leaving a legacy, and how you go about that. So forget the myth. Money is not the root of all evil. In fact, it's a tool for freedom, independence, and legacy building. And my featured guest speaker is going to be sharing that with you today. I like to say today because you might be in another part of the world. We are global. I want you just to sit back and relax and get comfortable. But before I bring her up, I want to share just a wee bit about her. She is Ambassador Dr. Madeline Plate, a powerhouse financial coach who brings wisdom, real stories, and heart-driven strategies. And she's going to give us some powerful ones today. So all you have to do, my friends, there's so much more she'll share with you, but I just want you to sit back and relax, grab whatever makes you comfortable. A glass of water, a cup of tea, coffee, maybe even a cocktail, a glass of wine, but just be comfortable and help me welcome. I am honored to have her here, and I'll tell you why a little bit later. Always honored to have my featured guest speakers. Help me welcome Dr. Ambassador Madeline Plate. Madeline, as they say in the movies, come on up.
Well, thank you so much, Joy. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of the program and having the invitation to come on here and speak across the globe to leaders and legacy and style. And it's and where I live, and it's afternoon in Southern California. I live in a little community that I just adore. It's called Temecula. It's a little bit hour and 15 minutes north of San Diego. And I moved here. I was attracted to move here many years ago because I had horses, and I live in horse and wine country. And so there's 40 wineries, and I spend Sunday or Saturday mornings walking the vineyards with my dog. So I just love it. But, I give you a little bit of background about myself, and then we'll sort of follow the conversation where it goes. But I've been with this company and been coaching families in June, it will be 43 years. So you're going to be able to calculate my age, but it's a part of the story. I came to work with this company when I was 23 years old. And so understand that I came as a very unexperienced. I had no gifts, no ability, no talent, and I don't even have a college degree. And so I grew up in a very bad neighborhood here. If you mention the street for somebody who's local, they would say you could get shot there. So it's the hood. Moved in there when I was 12 years old. My father was a military. He was a 27-year career Marine. He got orders to deploy to Vietnam. And at that time, we were living on Camp Pendleton Marine Corps Base. And because he was leaving and was not going to be occupying the home with us, he had to move us off the base. 2 weeks, and with budget-minded process, he moved us into the hood, and he didn't even know it. It was filled with you could walk out, get any drug of choice. But at age 16, I had an awakening. And we went to San Diego, and many of you probably are aware of the Coronado Bridge. It's a beautiful landmark in San Diego. And I saw it that night lit up. And I knew, I get emotional about it, I knew there was so much more in the world than my little neighborhood that was circled in red by the police department and the fire department. And so I changed my behavior, and I took on the seed of desire that I was going to get out. There was no way in my lifetime working ahead that I was going to raise children in the hood. And so 23-year-old girl, no gifts, no talent, no ability, but also no options. No one was going to come along and say, oh my gosh, you have star qualities, come to work with us. And this company came to me and said, if you'll show up, have a work ethic, and be coachable, which of course I did. I was raised by a 27 career Marine and it got beaten into you. So, right. And so in business today, I have worked the span of all different experience and challenges with families. And we work predominantly with Main Street families. If you're broke, don't know how to navigate the future financially, you're one of my clients, okay? Or if you've gone through tragedy or hit a pothole or had a life circumstances dealt to you that you can't recover them financially, you're my client. So today I have 28 offices, 550 licensed professionals. We build equity in our company. And one of those equities is called assets under management. I have $363 billion. I'm in business with my husband, so it's both of us. We have $363 billion of assets under management, $360 million that we have put this year, just this year, we've put on the books an income replacement. And we have a total of $4.6 billion of income replacement on the books. And I've paid 100 out of my offices, not just me, but just out of my offices, not the company, because it's a Fortune 1000 company, 182 million in death claims.
Madeline, I have to interject because your story is mesmerizing. First of all, you live in an area where you have the best of two very popular worlds, horses and wine. And then you're talking about being coachable and the power of dollars and legacy and being in the hood. The hood I know all about, most people do. And then you bring up this word coachable. What I want to share with the audience, Madeline, and you're too modest to do it, but you are a multimillionaire, close to that other zillionaire billion. I think it's great. I've met a few, but your humbleness absolutely enthralls my DNA. So good for you. Tell us how you share with us about how you came to this. But why is the power of working with money so indigenous to your DNA? You shared some of it briefly, but give us some more pointers about the power of money working for you. Because everybody wants it, but most of us don't know how to go about it and really acquire it. And you ended with the word coachable. So share with us more.
Well, I think when I started to evaluate the gifts, my God-given gifts, I knew it was dancing, singing, or drawing. So when I figured out what it was people. I really love people. I love to bring change and I love to impact people. And there's such misinformation and a lack of guidance out there and an injustice that's being done in the financial services world. We're going to talk about that. So one of the myths out there is that people become wealthy and become millionaires because they inherit money. But that's not the case. That's not at all how people become millionaires. And so people are self-made millionaires. They don't inherit it. And so here are the quick things, just quickly, the list of things that create a self-made millionaire. You create a financial plan. We're going to talk more about this as we go through this afternoon. Create a financial plan, save money, invest, time and consistency. A little bit of money over a long period of time ends up being a lot. Increase your income, cut your expenses, avoid debt, and work with a financial expert.
That's it. That's you know what, Madeline, this is what I know at this happy time in my life. I'm a happy senior and blessed for every day. But all of that seems very simplistic. But you and I know how difficult change is for most of us, regardless what generation you're in. So you mentioned that word coachable. Tell us about how you find it working with people, and can you determine and ascertain right away whether or not they're going to be coachable and take in and embody what you share?
I think today, when we look at Main Street families, and I work with Main Street families, every individual from any different walk of life, but I also work with a lot of women because I'm a part of women organizations. I don't know that it's not that we're coachable, because I think if the proper engagement takes place, the coachability comes. We're intimidated. We're overwhelmed. We're struggling. We're stuck. And so when we get on that side of the line, that causes paralyzation. So we're paralyzed, number one. Number two, we are in a world that is fueled and run on greed. And so we are dealing with financial institutions that their number one priority is to make profit and make money. It's at the demise of the American people, and they do very well at it. I'm going to talk about some numbers in just a moment. So greed factor. And then I just think that we're constantly inundated by we're in a gnat storm every day with marketing and being sold things. And then women are constantly bombarded with the lie that it's how we look is far more important than who we are.
Yes.
But
Yes.
real beauty is not a look. Real beauty, it's an action.
Thank you for that. Brilliantly said. Brilliantly said. Everything, Madeline. But what you also said that touched my soul is the proper engagement. It's not that one is afraid or running around or away. It's just that the engagement of connecting has not been there. What are some of the keys that you have discovered working with Main Street people that you find acquiring the proper engagement? What are some of the talents or skills or the craft that you bring to the table?
Well, I'm going to go through a list of the reasons why people fail. But before I do, I want to say I am a full throttle person. I live life full throttle. I don't drink coffee. You don't want me drinking coffee. I have high energy. And we do a lot. We do a lot of fundraising. We do a lot of giving. And I feel like I'm a conduit for God. But you have to pause. And you have to pause in order to properly get clarification and identify what your priorities are. And not only your priorities when it comes to life in the financial realm. I'm doing a talk right now that's been around quite a bit with different groups. I had to pause and figure out what was the priority with my time. And so I created filters in order to evaluate. I have a filter. I have a time filter. Somebody asked me to do something on Saturday to be part of, and I put it quickly. My filter's typed in my phone. I put it quickly through my filter, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Well, financial filter as well. And we've got to create the financial filter. So here's the reasons. We're going to go through these quickly, and then I'd like to go back and develop. Okay. Problem to solve: 6 primary reasons why people fail. Number 1, lack of awareness and lack of education. Okay, we'll talk about that. No game plan. And so it's like you get in your car, you have your tires checked, you've mechanically serviced your car, you've got to pull out of the driveway, and you're going on a drive and you have no idea where you're going. Okay. And you're going at full speed ahead because that's the next one, no coach. And we know that 67% of individuals who have a coach, 6.7 out of 10, are going to have a greater success. Then paycheck to paycheck. And I want to revisit all these. And then I've already mentioned the financial institution. I'm going to share some numbers with you about that. And then I added the 6th component. Our company has 5. Those 5 I just mentioned. Number 6 is emotion. We are so impacted and affected and triggered by emotion. So we'll revisit each of those, Joy, one by one.
Well. I am just like I'm always like this. I'm bouncy here because you're giving us so much juice here. But you know what, Madeline, you mentioned something that I want to speak to, and we're going to take a quick little reset and come back because I want you to cover these 6 skills that you have, talents. You mentioned that you're full throttle. I love that, full throttle. But you qualify by saying that's all well and good. But if you are, you have to learn to pause and make use of your time, because we are in an Insta society. I mentioned that once before. So you're being able to be full throttle and yet to take time to sit back and breathe and pause is a gift that you're going to be sharing with others. Let me take a quick little reset because I want you to cover all of these pointers that you're going to share with us. And we'll be back with you in just a second. My engineer is going to scoot you in the green room. My. Is this not exciting? Well, it's all about, she mentioned emotions in the end, but that involves power and involves money and all that other stuff, which we're talking about. This lady is a powerhouse, and my desire is that you connect with her. But in the meantime, I want you to join my group, which she's a member of, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. And if you're not a member of this group, please join, because you'll find Madeline there and many other powerful women who are about being agents of change makers, way showers. It doesn't matter the title, because your vision, your mission, and your purpose, it matters. So we need you there. So please come and connect with us there, and you'll be able to connect with Madeline. In the meantime, there's another group that I belong to. It's called The Great Discovery. Take a screenshot, take a snapshot. It's a phenomenal group because it's global. Aren't we all, most of us, global today? And if not, as Momsy would say, we ought to be, because the world gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and how we connect. It's a good thing in some ways. And then I want to show you her graphic. Madeline, Ambassador, Dr. Madeline Plate. I love this woman. Her graphic, you take a screenshot, you take a snapshot, get the text, the money, take this so that it'll be going over all the platforms, but you'll have it in your own little arsenal. And your assignment, you know, we love homework here, is to connect with her. In the meantime, there's so much she wants to share with us, and I want her to share. So we're back now, Madeline. I want you to share with us 6 pivotal points or pointers that you need, that we all need to be aware of. So you begin.
Okay, so let's talk about I don't know if you've all heard, but they're the seven F's of the foundation of life. So
Yes.
family, finance, friends, fun, and future. And so we put finance on the bottom. Just like when we're dealing with our financial goals, we put our goals and dreams on the top instead of saving for a secure and sustainable future. We have all of our priorities flipped upside down. And so it's really important to do some evaluation, because if you get your finances in good order, it will affect the rest of your 7 F's in a very, very positive way. But and I know there's tons of people that I have that are friends that are life coaches. And I keep saying, unless you're working on the financial component, you're not really restoring and bringing balance to that individual.
Mm-hmm.
It has that compression that's caused and the conflict that's caused by not being financially in a good position, not having a good financial game plan, can devastate you emotionally. So let's talk about lack of awareness and lack of education. Mm-hmm. One of the things that's most important to be aware of, first of all, is the world is changing very rapidly. Mm-hmm. And so as I go through this, I'm going to bring that up from time to time. But number one, biggest thing to be aware of is, what is inflation doing to the purchasing power of the dollar? And if you don't know from now where you are in your age to your age retirement, what's going to happen to the value and purchasing power of your money, you need a game plan. We need to be able to forecast that future, even if it's a low 2.6% inflation factor. So if you need to live on $10,000 in today's dollars, when you get to retirement, it is going to be so much greater than that. Mm-hmm. And mind you, inflation didn't go away upon your retirement. It continues to grow year after year. So you've got to have, at least right now, the average over 10 years is a 2.6% inflation increase. You better have your income. You better have the ability to trigger and activate 2.6 greater income year after year. And if you can't, your lifestyle will shrink. You will not be able to afford your life. And I tell my team, it's not like they're not going to Italy. People are not buying food. They're not paying co-pays. The senior population is becoming, their life is shrinking as inflation continues just to speed away from us. And we can tell that today by the grocery store. Just
yes.
The grocery store.
The price of eggs. Madeline, before you go any further, I go always to the basics and the bottom line. And you said something that really marinated with me. And that's that most everything that most of us, it's never all, but too many of us are doing, we're doing it upside down and all around and not getting to the basics. So what I'm hearing is that we have to go back to the beginning and start at the beginning. And you've given us the 7 pivotal points, but where does one begin when you go back to the beginning and the basics?
Yeah, so one begins by putting together, reaching out to a coach, reaching out to a qualified coach that has your best interest at heart with integrity. Okay. So reaching out to a coach to get help and to get a game plan so that you can figure out, where are you at? Just like your GPS on your phone, where are you at? Where do you need to go? And how are you going to get there? And you can get a historical printout that shows you year by year ahead, plus year after year after year in retirement. So you know, down to the last year of your life expectancy, how are you going to be living financially? That's the first step. And we offer that. We offer it for free. We don't charge for our GPS, or we call it a financial needs analysis, and we don't charge for our coaching.
I love that. And you know why? Because people who are really serious about what you're talking about, and every one of us who has, as Momsy would say, you know, my Momsy, that's another story, half a brain. It's with no blame, no shame, and no guilt. Find someone that you know you can confide in who will help you to master this game plan. I love that.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of stuff.
And the reason I say they need to be qualified with integrity, because let's talk about the financial services industry. The financial services, see, the world has changed. And I think when my parents I learned about money from my parents and how I learned about it was not very positive. They would go behind the bedroom door and fight. And, little 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old little girl, that was how I learned about money. That was my education about money. Very unpleasant. Okay. So when we look at what's going on, but in my parents' day, I think institutions were able to be respected and regarded. Today, you need to be very aware of what's going on. So let me just give you some quick numbers. If you put your money into a mainstream bank, and one of them advertises their 360 money market, and $10,000, they advertise, here we are, we're the best, come and put your money with us. They will pay you 1% to put your money there. Many people don't know what banks pay, but let's talk about what happens to that $10,000 in 48 years. In 48 years, that money will be $16,104. Mind you, 10 of it was yours. So you made $6,104. If you're able to put your money to work at 6%, that same $10,000 will be equal $160,000. And if you can put your money in a qualified account and get 12%, it's mind-boggling. It's beyond human comprehension. But that same $10,000 will grow in 48 years to $2.5 million. That blows my mind. Now, the bank is taking your money in. They're not storing it underground in a box. They're putting it out in the global economy, and they're paying you 1% while they're investing it and get 12% plus. They're getting $2.5 million, not you.
Madeline, it is mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling. And I love the way that you said awareness and awakening, because that's why I've labeled myself the minister of enlightenment, awareness, and awakenings, because it's time for all of us to wake up. Things have changed. And that's why I label myself the minister of, and you are the ambassador of. And I love that. There's so much here to cover. We have some time yet. How many more pointers do you have to share with us? Let's share thus far is beyond powerful. We all have received that.
Yeah, let's talk about what you're spending your money on. Just as important as your time is your greatest value. You can never replace it. Putting a picture together as to where you're putting your time, figure out what you're spending your money on, because money has power, and retirement is not an age, it's a dollar amount. But the power of money working for you. So here's a quick story. I have a client, met her in 2016. She had been laid off from her job after 22 years. They laid her off and pushed her benefits, her 401k and that sort of thing out the door. So started with $206,000, which was not properly invested in her 401k, but we fixed that. Just a little Filipino lady, very humble, very scared. I met her, her back was towards me at McDonald's. She was quivering in the booth. Took that $206 and put it into a qualified investment account. Now, beginning of January, she reached out to me and said, we want to go on vacation. Now, over from 2016 to now, they've withdrawn 9 times, 206,000, withdrew 9 times to go on vacations, spent $77,000 of that money. January, she reached out to me again and said, we want to go on vacation in the Philippines. We need some money. So in 3 business days, the money's in her account. Well, within a week, one night at 3:00 in the morning, I got a call. Her name resonated in my phone. I answered it. It was her husband. She died of a heart attack. Okay. So what do? We reset their life. Now listen to these numbers, okay? Because she did by saving money for her family. And she was the stronger of the 2 individuals. They have 3 young adult children. So we started with 207. Today it's worth $570,000, even with 9 withdrawals, with a total withdrawal amount of $77,000. So we're going to pull her current 401k, and we're paying a death benefit claim of $100,000. So we're going to put $650,000 into a qualified investment. And since he lost her paycheck, she wasn't retired yet. She was going to retire in 2 years. We're going to withdraw $3,000 a month to put into his bank account. Never him having to think about it, will automatically trigger. Now, mind you, we started with 206. We're going to put 650 in, and he's going to withdraw $3,000 a month. And in 10 years, that $650,000 account, once we pull all his money together, withdrawing $3,000 will be worth over $2 million.
It is mind-boggling.
The power of money working for you. So what are you spending your money on? What is it that you're going out there and we don't realize the waste that we're creating. And if you have debt, if you have credit card debt, you're losing money in 2 ways. You're losing money because you're paying interest to the creditors, and interest rates today are in the 30 percentile. And you're also losing the opportunity to invest that money and earn money with it.
And Madeline, this is something that is not taught in schools, in
No,
colleges. It's
no.
not. So one has to be savvy enough, aware enough, enlightened enough to meet and connect with people like you so that you can show them all the possibilities. Jennifer says, "Wahoo, love Madeline. She's got it down." You do. And I knew that before I even heard all of this wonderful wealth that you're sharing with us, the knowledge. Tell us what you gave us an example of one of the people that you work with. What is the number one thing that you find with men and women that you work with that you see their eyeballs light up, that they're just overwhelmed and over everything in the best way with what you're teaching them, with what you're sharing with them?
You know what, Joy? It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's hope.
Oh, I love that.
Light. Now we do it through our tool, our financial needs analysis. It's light brought into darkness, and it's coaching. And a coach is a leader, and a coach and a leader has the ability to take someone where they cannot take themselves. And if it's a dark path, we have a flashlight. What we find most that people struggle with is having no idea how to. They are so caught up in the movement, the gnat storm. I call it a gnat storm, driving your car through a gnat storm. And they just don't know how. And then when you add the emotion, the emotional components, whatever it is, it could be baggage. You know, it's interesting. We're teaching a class at our church, and a young lady talked about taking a young lady who has stage 4 cancer, unfortunately, and a little 9-year-old daughter. She was at the grocery store, and there were an $89 bottle of bubbles. And she went to buy them. And because she's coming through this class, she put them back. But understand the significance of that. It wasn't the 89 cents.
No.
Number one, she and her husband had come together and had an agreement on what they were going to do as far as their priorities and their goals financially. Putting that 89-cent bottle of bubbles back honored her husband, number one. Number two, you have to create new habits, new behaviors, and new actions. And by putting that back, she is building new highways in her brain, so that as she goes through life, the element of discipline to say, no, I don't need that. No, I don't want that. And to be confident and comfortable with it is huge.
And Madeline, that new and that change that comes about for all of us, and you have a fan here who says blessings and breakthroughs for you to her. And I get that. Hello, April, the loveologist. I adore her. By the way, I want my engineer to put up your poster again, and I want you, the time just flies here. Speak to this a wee bit, because what we want to do, this goes out on all the social media platforms. It'll be out on all the major ones, and it's evergreen. But you will get this. But your poster, speak to this about how you want people to connect with you. If you can leave that up for a moment or two, my engineer, and let Madeline speak to what she's going to offer the people who come to her for a complimentary call to see if she can support them. So if you could put up her poster again, and Madeline, speak to this and say to the people what they'll get when they come to you.
Well, again, they just text me the word money. I can reach out to them. And what we do, and we can work all across the United States through Zoom, is we'll get on and we'll do discovery. We'll have a conversation, and we will do a financial GPS. Where are you at? And what that GPS, the result of that GPS, will be a tool that will put your priorities in order, give you a debt freedom date, when you're going to be debt free, and show you exactly what you need to do to save for the future and how you're going to live successfully, secure, and sustainable in retirement. And we do it. We provide that tool for free because we don't believe that it's fair when people are in financial. People, if they have to pay, they're not going to do it.
And if they're really savvy, smart, intelligence, which has nothing to do with the PhD and the master's degrees, even though that's great, they're going to say, golly gee, do I need this? And they're going to align with you. And you know what, Madeline, I love your GPS theory, because I'm dyslexic. And so the GPS for me, getting to a place where I had to go, making sure that I got there, that GPS for me is great. But the way you say GPS financial, wow, it opens up a whole new terrain. And it does.
Joy, if you're really serious about building security, sustainability, and a legacy. I have clients that they were blue collar workers.
Yes.
40 years ago started to save a little tiny bit of money. Like this Filipino family, they will never ever spend the money. That's a legacy. That's a legacy.
This is a expression that's become too common, and I'm only cutting you off, Madeline, because the time flies here, and I cannot tell you how you've enlightened all of us.
Awesome.
The tools and the nuggets and everything that you share with us, it's mind-boggling in the best way, in the best way. So I thank you, thank you, thank you.
So
That's
thrilled.
it for today. We're going to put you in the green room, and I'll be with you in just a second.
Awesome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bless you. Oh, my goodness, my friends, you have an assignment. You know homework is one of them here. This is a lady that's a powerhouse, but her heart, her humbleness, her knowledge, her awareness, her compassion is genuine, real. It's true. You'll not find a better financial consultant to be with. So make sure that you do that. And then, may I say to you, as always, my heart to yours, much, much love. Be and stay well. Make the best of every moment, no matter what generation you're in. And we'll be with you again next week, same time, same station. But join us on Wednesday for Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. All of these leaders, well, they're all leaders. So long for now. All the best. Much love. Cheers.